So this video is for anyone that suffers from anterior pelvic tilt. So what does that mean? Okay, basically, a little bit of exaggeration, but you stick your bum out, okay? So you're in that position rather than in a nice neutral alignment, okay? So you're not forward, you stick your bum out a little bit, okay, like that. Okay, so basically it's caused by imbalances and a lot of core strength involved, but very tight hip flexors. So I'm just going to go through some simple exercises that you can do for stretching and then for strengthening. So the first exercise, I want you to come into this position. You're going to take your hands to this knee, so the one that's forward. And what I want you to do is I want you just to tilt your pelvis under. So you're just tilting your pelvis and you should feel a stretch along here. So down the hip flexor muscle. So you can support yourself on this hand and I want you to feel that down there. The more you push forward, the more you're going to feel it. So you can draw your belly button in towards your spine as you push forward. And now you should feel that there. And I want you to hold that for about 60 seconds. Okay, and really draw that belly button in. Feel nice and tight. So I must be tight today in my hip flexors, so I'm really feeling that one. Okay, so that's your first exercise. So if I released off, I'm going back, tuck your pelvis under. You just want to hold that, okay? And then we go on to the other side. Again, draw your belly button as if you're pulling in towards your spine. Hands rest down and really push pelvic tilt forward. And again, hold for about 60 seconds of each. And then we come down to the ground. We're going to do a few reps of this one. So lying down, what we want to do is we want to just grab hold of this foot and you're going to push it in towards your bum as much as you can. You can grab both hands and you're just going to push it in. And what I want you to do is push your hips into the ground as well. So if you push your hip towards the ground, you'll feel a greater stretch. And again, I want you to hold this for about 60 seconds of each before you switch over to the other side. Again, push your hip into the mat, into the ground, and you want to be doing about 2 or 3 reps of these. So obviously if you're short of time, just one round is fine. But if you can, spend a little bit longer on these stretches a few days a week. And I'm really squeezing my glute here as well. So I'm squeezing, I'm really pushing into the ground. So it should be something that's relaxing. You're just really pushing in and switching sides, okay? So remember you're doing this for about 60 seconds you want to be holding this stretch for. And release off. The next stretch, we're going to come into a cat-cow position. So anyone with anterior pelvic tilt, you're going to really have an arch back here. So I want you to think about drawing that belly button through. So I want you to take a big deep breath in. On the exhale, you're rounding up. So really push up nice and tall. Hold that stretch and back down. Remember to exhale as you reach up. So having an anterior pelvic tilt can really affect your ankles and your feet as well as your upper body. So again, I want you to do about 10 reps of these ones. I'm just holding it here for a few seconds. And on the last one, I want you to sit back and stay rounded. Think about a big C shape in your back. Okay, so that's going to be stretching out your lower back. And another great stretch to do. So you can take a chair, bench. You're just going to sit down on the bench and you're just going to drop your upper body down. And just let your arms hang down. And again, you want to be holding this for about 60 seconds. And just relax down into it. You can take your arms a little bit further through. You feel a nice stretch for your back. Okay, so holding that for about 60 seconds. Okay, then we're going to come down to the mat. We're going to lie on our front. And I just want you to take your arms out and we're just going to push our pelvis into the mat. So push and release, push
and release. Push and release. Push and release. So I'm really squeezing my glutes here and I'm really pushing my hips into the mat. You can do it on the exhale. Push. Again, I want you to be doing about 10 reps of these, holding that last one. Really, so you're really sucking that belly button in towards your spine, holding that stretch. And release off. We're going to turn over this time. This is called the no gap leg lowers. The no gap exercise, that's a good one. Okay, so see this gap here? Anyone with an anterior pelvic tilt is certainly going to have a gap there. Okay, so what I want you to think about is sucking in, back flat, so you feel full contact on the ground with your back. And we're just going to take one leg out and in, out and in. And exhale as you lengthen. And you want to be doing about 25 reps of these on each side. So 1, 2, so you're going to count to 50. And at all times, you feel that full contact with your back on the ground. So anyone with a anterior pelvic tilt will struggle with this one, okay, about pushing your back into the ground. Now, this is really working for your core. So we'll really push down. You should be nice and tight here. Okay, so you just want to repeat them all the way to 25 reps, but no gap. The no gap exercise, so you can't get a hand through. Push down, flatten your hand. So you can have your hands there if you wish to. So you're really pushing down your hands if you're trying to squash them, coming forward. Okay, next exercise. We're going to do a pelvic tilt. So you've got the gap here. You're going to flatten and release, flatten and release. So if you get your breathing right, you'll really feel that. So if you just feel your bottom rib, you should feel that muscle pushing out. And if you get your breathing, you can really feel that tension in that muscle as well. So you want to be doing, until you feel comfortable basically with this, you're getting it right, you're feeling that muscle and your core pushing out, and you're really flattening your back. So you're tilting your pelvis, flattening. And when you're ready, you come up into a glute bridge. And you want to be holding this here. So my knees are about fist width apart, my feet are about hip width apart. Okay, and you're just going to do a pelvic tilt whilst in this position. So you're going to really contract the glutes, little tilt, so it's just a small movement. Squeeze those glutes, so you're feeling a stretch coming down here, and you're going to hold it for about 20 seconds. Try not to flare out your ribs, so you're not up here, tilting that pelvis, squeezing those glutes, and lower down. Lift, squeeze, try not to push your knees out. Hold for 20 seconds. Make sure you've done that extra little pelvic tilt at the top. And relax down. Up. You want to do about 10 reps of these, holding them for about 20 seconds. And lower. Ooh. The next one, we're going to go for a plank. So if you can't hold plank up into this position, then I want you to do this on your knees. But what I need you to do, so if you're in anterior pelvic tilt, you're going to have in basically this position, okay? So what I want you to think about is tucking that pelvis under, pelvic tilt, drawing that belly button in, squeezing those glutes nice and hard, and you're going to hold it as long as you can. Drop down if you need to. If you are on your knees, remember, not like this. You're going to tuck your pelvis under, squeeze those glutes, nice and tight, belly button in towards your spine. and hold that as long as you can. Squeeze, 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 and relax down. So they're your exercises and your stretches to do. Really encourage you to try and do as many of those as you can every day if you can. So if you can't allow that much time, even if you're just picking a few of the exercises to do and you can alternate them until you feel comfortable, and then you can just go into doing a few, even if you can hold it for 60 seconds, some of those first stretches, it's better than nothing at all. And if you can, once or twice a week, try and do the whole exercise. So in all, it probably will take you about 20 minutes to do. Okay? See you again soon.